I'm Ashton from EventChain for Investment Pitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Chen, the CEO of Interlapse Technologies Corp. Wayne, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
My pleasure. Thanks, Ashton.
You're welcome. Let's start off the interview by learning exactly what is Interlapse and what is CoinCurve, and how are you accelerating the adoption of virtual currencies through the platform?
For sure. Interlapse Technologies Corp is a public company. We're listed on the TSXV venture exchange. Essentially, we are really focused on the adoption of mass adoption of virtual currencies, particularly Bitcoin. And we believe that it's a new generation of wealth and technology that people should embrace. And we acquired a business called CoinCurve, which is our primary goal right now and our primary product. And it's focused on driving mass adoption for people to buy Bitcoins really, really easily. And hopefully, with this product going forward, we allow a lot of people to easily be able to adopt into this kind of a technology and new currency as well, global currency.
Interesting. And it's interesting that Interlapse is a public company. Can you talk a little bit about the public structure and how Interlapse operates with virtual currencies and if that makes a difference?
Yeah, Interlapse, essentially, we are a public traded company, as I mentioned. We've been kind of, we essentially did a change of business coming out of the gate, which was last May. And so it's been about, hello? Sorry, I kind of went out a little bit. It's been about, a year, a bit over a year now. And what happened was essentially we acquired a business called CoinCurve. And, we run a really tight ship. We're a small company. We run it like a startup. And our goal is really just to kind of drive that mass adoption. Eventually, we may focus on other technology sectors that help, springboard virtual currencies and blockchain tech into, newer horizons. But right now, we're strictly focused on that. So, we have 25 million shares out. So it's really, really tightly controlled. And we're really running it like a startup and slowly building that credibility in the public markets.
It sounds great. I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into CoinCurve and its business. Can you talk a bit exactly about what is the process in allowing more people to adopt virtual currencies? And is there a unique proposition with CoinCurve as opposed to other competitors doing similar things?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I'm glad you asked that question, the biggest thing that CoinCurve has that differentiates from what's in the market is there's obviously a lot of exchanges out there, right? And it's all about trading and whatnot, coins to coins or coins to fiat. We're not focused on it. We're actually focused on just a simple way to buy. So a couple of big things that were different. One is you don't need to sign up. So essentially, people can really visit the site, coincurve.com, and buy the first Bitcoin without needing to create an account or anything like that. And second is we're non-custodial, and we like to call it self-custody now. And what that means is I think that's the right way to actually own Bitcoin and safety for security as well. Essentially be your own bank, right? And I think, with a lot of these kind of exchanges with, negative press in the past, we had the Quadriga case and whatnot, and many more, in not even outside Canada as well, coins being lost or stolen or exchanges being hacked. We essentially want our customers, essentially when they buy Bitcoin, that they own their own Bitcoins, and I think that's really, really important in the space today. And they can feel that they're empowered, that the coins won't be lost, and how they control it is up to their decision, right? So I think that's a big educational piece that as we attract more people into the market and they want to try to buy the first Bitcoin, they do it the right way. And I think CoinCurve provides that. Small amounts, we're talking $500 per transaction that they can buy, $1,000 per day. So we're talking small amounts, no sign up, quick and easy, self-custody. And I think that's the first step to getting into the Bitcoin space for any new users that want to, look at this technology and this currency.
That is quite a unique perspective. And you're right about the custodial, the situations that have gone on before where there's been hacks, but on this at the same time, if you have a non-custodial platform and the users get to be their own bank, and it's their own control of their funds, and if they make a mistake, it's on their own fault as well, and there is that education aspect to it. Do you see CoinCurve or Interlapse needing to play a role in the education, or just grow the company alongside the public education as virtual currencies become more well known in mainstream?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, a lot of people always ask us, where do I get my first wallet, right? As they get to the checkout flow. And obviously we recommend, certain wallets. We want to be careful with that as well, because, we're not associated with these wallets. But obviously, hardware wallets are the right way and the safest to go. We're talking Trezors or Ledger, right? And there's no endorsement whenever, but that's kind of the factor that people use. The educational question that you answered, yeah, definitely. We want to, obviously be the, leader in the public space, in the crypto space, to educate people on why that's a very important part of owning and storing and securing your Bitcoin and virtual currency. And I think, given the size of team that we are at right now and the, earlier phase in our business, we are obviously, there's more to focus on right now to grow the business outside of Canada as well. So we'll talk about that in a sec, obviously. But I think the educational piece is more fed indirectly rather than directly, like, through a lot of educational pieces or videos. We haven't been doing a lot of that, to be honest, but I think that's something that's definitely in the pipes, and we definitely want to be more and more create more awareness in this as well. And hopefully the users, when they do that, we may lose some users for dropping off because they don't have a wallet, but that's our opportunity to basically educate them as well and tell them why that's important. And some people may still prefer to have like a banking system where it stores their Bitcoin for them, like an exchange, and that's fine. But overall, at least we given an opportunity and a platform for them to be able to come back eventually and learn about this as well. So everybody's at different phases, and there's not a lot of people that focus on really the early adopters of Bitcoin the right way, right? So people just jump right in exchange, put bids and ask orders, and a lot of people don't know how to trade or whatever, and they're buying Bitcoin. They have to sign up, wait for like 3-4 days. We don't want to focus on that. We just want to make it simple. That's it.
Yeah, you're definitely making it simple, and one of the ways that it looks like you're making it even simpler is that you recently acquired Buy Bitcoin Canada. Can you talk about what you saw in this transaction, how it incorporates into Interlapse, and what are the synergies of that moving forward?
Yeah, so we purchased, basically we bought buybitcoin.com. Essentially, it's a similar service like a CoinCurve. So we thought that had very similar kind of technology and similar type of direction in terms of the adoption of virtual currencies, right? They were focused on easy to buy as well, so it falls in the same kind of narrative. So really, to answer that question, really the biggest thing right now for Interlapse is a consolidation of companies or crypto companies in the space, at least in Canada, right? There's a lot of exchanges, as I mentioned, a lot of brokerages and whatnot. I think maybe there's too many. Maybe, that's good. That's a good thing, right? But I feel that, a lot of people always go on, whatever online and go, how do I buy Bitcoin? Where do I buy Bitcoin, right? There's all these services and whatnot. Which one's good? Which one's bad? I don't think there's any good or bad. It's a matter of preference, right? And what they're trying to do with it. Some people just want a small amount. Some people want to do large trades. Some people want to do altcoins. So they have the freedom to do that. But at least what Interlapse, that transaction was trying to do when we purchased buybitcoincanada.com was to consolidate our efforts of similar services that are focused on the rudimentary users getting into the Bitcoin space. And there are many more, but I think that's the start of our consolidation strategy. And hopefully in the future, we can acquire more, hopefully, and that's at our pleasure. And when they search Buy Bitcoin for new users, they can easily come to CoinCurve and be the de facto service.
Yeah, and there are so many options when you're just out there Googling, and
that's right,
it's good to have that consolidation, and it looks like Interlapse is building a nice tree that sort of has these different services. And one of the other services that you're also working on is the merchant solutions with CoinCurve Direct. Now, can you talk a little bit about how that also helps and expands Interlapse?
Yeah, we recently launched a new product called CoinCurve Direct. Essentially, it's a turnkey solution that what CoinCurve experiences, it's basically allows merchants to sell Bitcoins through their company and their branding and everything, right? We essentially do all the processing and the heavy lifting behind the scenes, right? We KYC the customers. We have our banking set up and whatnot, right? All the payment channels and whatnot. So I think it allows a lot of people that are kind of in the crypto space that may not have full licenses or whichever, or they don't want to take on a big team or operate a big kind of service for people or brokerage service for people to buy, but they want to kind of get into this space, right? So it's our B2B solution that allows kind of any businesses really, particularly in crypto, that want to sell Bitcoin, and they want to do that easily and quickly. I want to say overnight because it's actually it's almost that fast, but essentially realistically we can set up any merchant within 2-3 days, and then they can be selling Bitcoin. So we made up some big partnerships with our launch as well. And we partnered with local coin ATM one of the biggest ATMs, Bitcoin ATMs in Canada, right? And a couple more as well that you can see on that press release that we released earlier this year. So that obviously drives more volume, more momentum, and more adoption versus us doing all the marketing ourselves. They may have their customers from different provinces or whichever, or different types of businesses that may want to get into Bitcoin, and we can use that channel to basically allow them to promote. And ultimately, it benefits CoinCurve and them as well. Obviously, we rev share and everything, so that's obviously the details in terms of the business. But really, the goal there was to drive bigger adoption, not through just us, through everyone else.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're making some great Canadian partnerships, and I know Interlapse is doing well in Canada right now. So congratulations to that so far. And
Thanks.
I'm interested in hearing about this international expansion plans, because Canada is a great market, but expanding out to North America or even internationally can be huge potential if done right. So could you talk a little bit about, is there a plan for Interlapse to expand internationally, and what are the first steps towards that?
For sure, I think that's a big part of our agenda. Definitely, I think obviously we've started in Canada. It's our backyard, so we have all the right connections here in place and the right licenses and whatnot, right? And all the due diligence. So the next thing is to kind of take our simple CoinCurve platform. The reason why we made it so simple, it's like 7 screens or probably even less, and then it allows people to buy simply, is that we can allow it to expand and cookie cut the same business model everywhere else in the world, right? Particularly in places that are with higher density, places that see hyperinflation or currency erosion, right? And $500 for them may be a small amount in North America, but $500 overseas in a new market may be a lot of money, right? So a lot of people want to use CoinCurve as Bitcoin easily, and they want to be their own bank, right? They want to do that even more than here, because they may not have this the pleasure of a great banking system like us in Canada or North America, right? So these places demand a new currency, right? They see inflation in their currency as well, and they want to see a change. So it gives an opportunity to own CoinCurve. So back to your question, Interlapse, we are planning to expand globally right now, particularly starting with Southeast Asia, because we feel that that's the market that really understands and embraces the technology as well. And I think they need Bitcoin the most, and they prefer Bitcoin as well, right? So adoption can start there a lot quicker. And particularly Australia and New Zealand, we're looking at those countries as well. That's in the horizon too. So once we get into these countries, it allows us to grow faster, and allows us to go quicker, through partnerships or through new acquisitions. And new signups and essentially new users coming to the platform to use our system.
Wow, that's great. And Southeast Asia, I've studied it myself, and I know that there's a great adoption for virtual currencies there. So that really makes sense. And there's a huge numbers game as well. So I'm interested to hear a little bit more about that as it comes to fruition. And if investors or users or partners potentially are looking to learn more information about Interlapse, what's the best way for them to reach out and find out more?
Yeah, I think the best way is to obviously sign up to a newsletter on interlapse.com. We have a newsletter section. We actually put out a lot of good content about the space in general, and how we're trying to expand as well. So there's a lot of good information there for new investors that want to get into crypto space that may not know as much, or may know a little bit but want to expand their kind of investments as well. So through our newsletter, I think that's the biggest. We do a lot of work, and we spend a lot of time actually crafting our newsletter. So it's not just something that we put out. It's a lot of work to put in. So I wanted to emphasize on that. And definitely, obviously, the website gives you information. We have our deck there as well. We also have coincurve.com for you to even try and buy your first Bitcoin too there as well. So both interlapse.com and coincurve.com is the best way to kind of connect with us. We also do a lot of essentially media commentary through like CoinDesk and Cointelegraph. Some of these Kitco News is one, Proactive Investor is another one as well. So I've been doing some interviews there, in the past year, talking about the space, not particularly just in cryptocurrency, but even how like gold or these alternative assets are making a change as well in this world, and how Bitcoin and crypto could be a new form of asset that complements that as well, right? So follow our Twitter, follow our LinkedIn for Interlapse. It's lots of information there. We post very frequently, at least one couple times a month, and I think that's the best way to learn about the company, learn about the space, and hopefully embrace the technology and grow together as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Wayne. I will leave all those links in the description box below for the viewers. That's all the time that we have for the interview, but I really appreciate you coming on to talk about Interlapse and CoinCurve. All the best in your growth and expansion, and let's follow up in the near future.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ashton.